Anthony Davis edges oh so close to a return to those gritty little Lakers. USC and UCLA go 1-2 in the latest ESPN Top 300 Player Recruit Rankings for 2023. And there's a surprise school in the running for LeBron James' son. Good morning, I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos Morning Report. It's January 23rd, 2023. It's my birthday. Hence the decorations. I'm assuming wifey will be bursting out of that door after this clip with a sizable amount of nudity. That's not your business. That's mine. I don't like selling myself here. But if you are a longtime viewer and you're like, you know what, let's give the guy a couple of bucks for his birthday, I do have a historical fiction murder mystery novel that you can either order from a publisher or download. Ask me about it in the comments thread. Like I said, I don't want to turn this into a big advertisement. Meanwhile, let's talk about LA sports. If you like the content that we put out, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notifications bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And yeah, comment. Why not? It's fun. Before we go through the news and notes, a look at the scoreboard. The Lakers put together a masterful second half rally to run past Portland 121-112. LeBron James scored 31 points for the Lakers. Thomas Bryant added 31. They rallied from 25 points down at halftime. They were absolutely humiliated in the second quarter, 45-13. It is the second largest scoring differential in a quarter since the advent of the three-point shot. Darvin Ham was so upset, he just looked at him and said, y'all figure this ass out, and just stormed away. Thanks to the rally, LA is just 1.5 games out of the last play-in tournament spot. By the way, do you know who has the last play-in spot? Defending champion Golden State. Man, this year is weird in the NBA, straight up. Clippers 112, Dallas 98. Kawhi Leonard scored 30 points. Paul George adds 21. And Jarrett Anderson-Dolan scored 2 goals to lead the LA Kings over Chicago 2-1. Meanwhile, today, in terms of games played, nothing. Nada. So let's talk a little more about the Lakers. Anthony Davis went through a full contact scrimmage. Coach Darvin Ham said the center looked phenomenal. Now, Davis has been out since December 16th with a foot ailment. And like I've been saying all along, if you want to know how bad NBA players' feet are, Google Shaquille O'Neal's feet. You take one look at him and you will understand. Anthony Davis having a foot injury is not that far-fetched, okay? But the bottom line is he's been out for over a month. There's talk that he could be back as soon as this week. And being in a full contact scrimmage leads you to believe that's a distinct possibility. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver said as LeBron James approaches Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's all-time scoring record, games will be broadcast globally. If James breaks the record before the All-Star game, by the way, they will not just have a ceremony during that game to honor the record falling, but they will also have a special ceremony during All-Star weekend in Salt Lake City. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, do you remember him by any chance with the Lakers? He's currently on Denver. Said he regrets the Lakers front office breaking up the 2020 title team in order to land Russell Westbrook. Quote, I don't think they should have broke the team up, the championship team. I feel like they took a lot of their core pieces and broke them up, and the core pieces held everything together as far as that championship team. I feel like they rushed trying to do something new. Did you find yourself nodding your head in agreement, just like a Pavlovian dog response, like, yep, he's right? Because you know why? Yep, he's probably right. Dennis Schrader said he returned to the Lakers this season to, quote, make it right, unquote. He said he felt like he made himself look stupid by how he left the Lakers the first time. If you recall, he signed for the Lakers a couple of years ago. They liked the effort, they liked the grit, and they offered him an $84 million contract, which he turned down. He thought he could do better. Newsflash, he didn't. Not with Boston, not with Houston. So he said that there were other teams that were interested in signing him during this last offseason, but he felt LA was the ideal place in order to redeem himself. I had a small debate a month or so ago with a gentleman over whether or not Malachi Nelson was the number one recruit in the country. Nice enough fellow. It wasn't a bitter argument. It was just very pleasant, so whatever. Debates happen. But if my memory is correct, he said Arch Manning was the top recruit. I could be wrong. It was a month ago. The point I was telling him is the same point I'm about to share with you. There are a lot of news outlets with their own set of rankings for high school football recruits. CBS has it, probably Fox. Hell, for all I know, Catholic News Weekly has a ranking of top college football recruits. But ESPN was the one I was going by. And in the last ESPN Top 300, USC grabbed the number one recruit, and UCLA rallied to get number two. Both are quarterbacks. Malachi Nelson of Los Alamitos High goes to the Trojans. Dante Moore of Detroit's King High goes to the Bruins. Manning, by the way, Arch Manning, number 5, and he's committed to go to Texas. By the way, USC landed 3 of the top 13 players in the ESPN rankings. That includes wide receiver Zachariah Branch of Las Vegas and Mekhi Lemon, who also plays for Los Al High. If you are curious, the highest non-committed player is number 31, Jaden Rashada of Pittsburgh, California, who plays both quarterback and defensive tackle. Okay, that guy's a bit of a jack of all trades, wouldn't you say? It's kind of like, I don't know, that's kind of like sitting there saying, you know what, I really like my auto mechanic because, man, he makes a great falafel. How do you combine being a quarterback and defensive tackle? But apparently you can. Bronny James, son of you-know-who, has listed the final 3 schools that he is choosing from to make a commitment to when he leaves high school, according to the LA Times. Now, Ohio State is on the list, which makes a lot of sense. His father clearly loves the Buckeyes. You'll see him tweet about Ohio State. He'll wear an Ohio State football jersey every so often. Oregon's on the list, which is curious. And USC. USC? Really? Now, if Bronny wants immediate playing time, he's actually going to have to fight for it if he goes to USC. Because USC currently has a top 10 recruiting class for 2023 with a pair of 4-star guards. James is currently the 34th best recruit in the nation, number 8 in California. He plays for Sierra Canyon High School out in Chatsworth. He will make his decision once high school basketball season ends. A friend of mine, and he's a dude, is a legit LA Sparks fan. They do exist, male WNBA fans. Now, years ago, before I had this channel, he would rant to me constantly about how Sparks coach Derek Fisher was ruining the team, that he chased Candace Parker out of town over something. Now, this matters for a couple of reasons. Even people like me who don't watch the WNBA have heard of Candace Parker. Matter of fact, if Brittany Griner weren't held in a Russian gulag for the better part of a year, I would argue that Candace Parker is probably the league's most recognizable player. I mean, sorry, Candace. Pick up a drug habit. Fly to a foreign country. Boost your profile. It's just life. Anyway, Parker is a free agent, and she is considering, now that Derek Fisher is gone, she is considering a return to the LA Sparks. She is taking a meeting, by the way, with the Las Vegas Aces because the Aces now have cap space. The Aces, if you recall, they traded a player, oddly enough, to the Sparks to create that amount of room under the salary cap. But Parker, although she's going to talk with Las Vegas, her heart is either with A, staying in Chicago, or B, returning to LA. She's 36. She's in the twilight of her career. Now, she wants to win. Vegas can offer her that because they're the defending league champions. Chicago probably can't. Their entire roster is pretty much a bunch of free agents. So there's no way they're going to be able to keep the entire core and make a run at the WNBA title. Meanwhile, LA is trying a rapid rebuild. So it's going to be interesting to see where one of the most recognizable, one of the most productive players the WNBA has ever had will land. Meanwhile, Sparks player Katie Lou Samuelson has also been hired by Vanderbilt as the director of player development for women's basketball. She has not retired. She will still be playing for the Sparks. It is an off-season gig. And all things being equal, it probably beats playing overseas. It's unfair to ask the Biden administration to bail out every female basketball player, wouldn't you say? By the way, for all WNBA players, please take note. You can possess cannabis sativa in Tennessee, but any strain stronger than that is illegal. We have been wondering about the Clippers' woes in the past month. There have been lack of ball control. There's been a lack of cohesion on defense. Now, originally, I noted a slip of the tongue from Coach Tyronn Lue might have been a clue to the solution. He called Paul George his point guard. That might not be true now. He's still referring to Paul George as the point guard, but George committed 5 turnovers against the Dallas Mavericks on Sunday. Having said that, give Tyronn Lue credit for something else. He figured that the Clippers lacked fundamentals, so they've been holding practices again. Now I know, Allen Iverson is probably rolling over in his grave, and it may sound a little silly. You and I, when we think about practice, we think of it as an essential. The Clippers and a lot of NBA teams, though, don't. There's not a lot of practice time when you're traveling on the road, for one. And number two, the Clippers are a veteran team. They need their rest. But Tyronn Lue is like, nah, we got to find a decent gym and get to work. Players have worked on boxing out. They've worked on defending cuts. They've worked on the pick and roll. 2 players have told the LA Times that defensively they feel like they're more on the same page now. So it did pay dividends. The Baseball Hall of Fame class of 2022 will be revealed on Tuesday. There are former Dodgers waiting to see if the baseball scribes will give them the thumbs up. But to be honest, even though some of these names were tremendous hitters that you would recognize immediately, they're all long shots. Gary Sheffield is a long shot. Andruw Jones, long shot. Bobby Abreu, Jimmy Rollins, Andre Ethier, Jason Worth, and Jeff Kent. Yeah, the latter may be the most prolific power-hitting second baseman in baseball history. Maybe. But he is in his 10th and last ballot with the sports writers. You have to get 75% of the scribes to give you the thumbs up. And to be honest, all the sports writers basically thought the guy was a tool. Because he was. Honestly, he was a very surly guy. He was very difficult to get along with. Now, if he doesn't get the approval, his case is going to go to something called an ERA committee, which will add players. If you think about it, Fred McGriff didn't get voted in on the scribes. The ERA committee said, nah, that's an injustice. They put him in. Multiple viewers have mentioned to me in the last couple of days that the Bruins' loss in Arizona on Saturday is the inevitable result of poor shooting streaks. I don't have a problem with that assessment at all. But in my opinion, UCLA doesn't have much of a choice. They have to wait. They have to wait for the solution. Because the solution? It's Amari Bailey. I mean, Bailey has missed 7 consecutive games with foot pain. Now, allegedly, he's close to returning. But his minutes went to David Singleton. And as I was mentioning in yesterday's clip, Singleton put up a goose egg in 35 minutes. Does anybody think Amari Bailey would not score in 35 minutes? Of course not. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. Let me know what you think about USC and UCLA and the football recruiting. Let me know what you think about the Lakers' comeback with Anthony Davis on the brink of his return. And if you like the content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. Why not? It's my birthday. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Corte El Queso production. Take care.